Alright, so hey guys, it is me, 80 guys. Today guys, I'm going to give you guys my match review of the US Men's National Team 1, Mexico nil. Okay? So, today we're going to break down this win for the US. I think this win for the US is a very, very big win. This is the win that the US really needed, and I think this win is a huge show mark to the people that, hey, the US Men's National Team is actually in for serious business. They're actually showing that they actually mean business and they actually want to do something of note here. And I think this was a game that was very much entertaining. And yes, I understand there wasn't many goals. Obviously, there was only one goal. And I think for me, this match was very interesting because you look at that first half in particular, Mexico had created so many chances. You look at the players like Funes Mori, he had so many chances in that first half. You look at Pineda as well, Hector Herrera, Jesus Corona, you know, and the thing about the U.S. is that it took them a while to get into the game. It took them a while, and this was almost like a very similar game into the Nations League final in the sense that Mexico actually started off the more dominant team. They actually started to look the better team. And there's a huge, huge opportunity for the U.S. through Paul Arriola. I think it was an interception in the box, and Arriola managed to almost nearly score in the 25th minute, and that would have been a big, big goal indeed. So then at that point, Mexico started to put their more corners. They started to use their corners and take advantage of that. And I think to myself, wow, this has been a really, really crazy half. Defensively, we were very solid. I think Robinson had such a good game in the first half. And overall, guys, Matt Turner was incredible in the first. You look at that save he made on Edson Alvarez, I think was the guy that got the header. And it was a very, very good save. Very good save indeed. And it was a save that needed to happen, obviously. And as the game wore on, you started to get the feeling that the game was about chances. It was about game about the chances. The second half wore on. Mexico started to create a lot of opportunities. Had a lot of great opportunities. I think Zares had a really good chance to score. I even think Ariolo had another chance, and it was a game of almost chances essentially. I think Funes Mori had another chance to score, and he somehow didn't even get on target. And it was a game of chances. And you look at the stats right here, guys. The stats look very interesting. You 14 shots for the U.S. and 22 shots for the Mexico. Like I said, there wasn't many on target in particular. You look at the passes that Mexico made. There were a lot more. The stats looked better for them. But if you saw the game as the game went on, you could tell that the game was about chances. Whichever team could take more of the chances would win, obviously. And I look at Greg Walter in particular. Those substitutions he made today, I think, were very interesting. Look at the fact that extra time you get into this. You look at the fact, and I think the big thing that was a huge loss for Mexico was the fact when Salcedo came on. When Salcedo came on, I think that for me is when Mexico started to look defensively more. They started to look more flat, and they didn't look that great because I heard Salcedo had a really, really bad game against Canada. So I think it was interesting that he was brought on. Obviously, had an injury to I think Hector Moreno. Look at Vines came on, Shaq Moore came on, Christian Roldan came on, and this was a game that just was something. I feel like this game was screaming out something out of nothing. You had to do something out of nothing, you know. And I think that for me was interesting. You look at the fact the substitutions, you started to look better, and finally a set piece came in. The set piece came in. The Jesus Gallardo took him down. Actually, it was Edson Alvarez, I think. Edson Alvarez took him down. And Kellen Acosta. Kellen Acosta put in a beautiful cross into the box from Miles Robinson, and Robinson scored with his head to make it 1-0 for the U.S. And the U.S. manages to clinch the 7th Gold Cup title in history. With Mexico's 8 in the Gold Cup, so we're making the margins more attractable indeed. So, all in all, guys, it's a big win. It's a big win for the U.S. I think this is a win that the U.S. desperately needed. I think this win for me is huge in the sense that Greg Balcher managed to get this C team, B team, whatever you want to call it, to actually beat Mexico. And a lot of the first team players played in the Mexico, by the way. You got Jesus Corona, he's basically a first team regular. Hector Herrera, basically a first team regular. Edson Alvarez, a first team regular. Jonathan Dos Santos, a first team regular. Gallardo as well. Araujo, Hector Moreno. A lot of the players are first team players here. So Mexican fans, you cannot use the excuse that, oh, this wasn't a fully A strength team. Yes, it's not an A plus team. I understand there's no Ochoa. I know there's no Lozano. I know there is no well, actually Lozano was actually picked for the term, obviously went out injured. I know there's no Raul Jimenez, but regardless, this is a very strong Mexican team. Whereas for the US, there isn't many players from this team that could maybe get in the first team. Like, the only players I think can make a possible argument is maybe Robinson. I think Robinson's pretty much the only one. I think he had a very solid game. At the defensive line, he was really good for the interceptions and tackles. I think he had a really good game. I was really, really impressed with Kellen Acosta. He was doing really good in that midfield. And for me, the U.S., I'm thinking of this game is that the defensively we looked really solid. Is just the attack we didn't really look that great. And I think that for me was interesting, that the fact that the U.S. actually managed to win 1-0 all the games, barring that game against Martinique. So it goes to show you guys that USA has been very, very effective. And in these kind of tournaments, guys, it's not about playing nice and beautiful. It's about finding ways to win. And this is what's very effective. And I think the U.S. definitely deserved to win this game. You know, for Mexico, yes, they can argue they had a really good game. I think they had a decent game. But I think for Mexico in particular, the finishing was really poor for them. And I think for Tata Martino in particular, I don't think he trusted his squad that much. I think that was another issue, is that he didn't really have enough faith in these players to deliver the trophy. You know, I think that for me was another huge issue in the sense that I think potentially his squad depth, I think, was he didn't really have faith in the players. And I think that's another reason why Mexico didn't really play that well as the game wore on, you know. And for the U.S. in particular, I think they were pretty solid. As I said before, they had a lot of chances. A lot of the chances they had were really good chances, as I said. You know, a lot of the chances, and you know, it was a game of fine margin. It was a game of fine margin, and we were very, very close to getting a penalty shootout. My prediction was that for the U.S., it makes it a draw 1-1 after 120 minutes and go to pens, and obviously USA win. And my friend's prediction, that crazy blamer, said it would end 0-0. And we would go to pens, and Mexico would win on pens. And to be fair, both of our predictions were very, very close to actually what happened, you know. So overall, guys, as I said before, guys, it's a big win for the U.S. I think this is the win that the U.S. desperately needed, and I think this is the win that shows that the U.S. means business. That they're not gonna settle being the second best in CONCACAF. They are now the undisputed kings of the CONCACAF. They're right now the kings of the CONCACAF, and there's no argument whatsoever. And you can look at the fireworks right here, guys. You can see the fireworks in the background. And with obviously this win, guys, we're not going to be looking in the World Cup qualifiers that come up very soon. We have El Salvador coming up away, and then Canada at home, then Honduras away, and then Jamaica at home. So a lot of games coming up, guys. I'll be here to talk about those games, guys. In less than a month from now, we'll be here again, guys. And I want you guys to share down below which players from this team you think has a potential to be in that first team roster when the World Cup qualifiers happen. Because as I said before, guys, it's gonna be interesting. Because as I said before, guys, the main objective is to qualify for the World Cup. Because as I said before, guys, as nice as the trophies are, and don't get me, the trophies are very nice indeed, I would rather us make the World Cup than get those 2 trophies. If that makes any sense. Because as I said before, guys, losing out on 2 World Cups consecutively would be very disastrous for the team. So, you know, I want you guys to share down below what you guys think of the match. As I said before, guys, there are probably some big things I forgot to mention. As I said before, guys, I'm currently on traveling right now, so it's difficult to really keep on to hand the whole the things that happened. And as I said before, guys, this was a really quality game, and I think this was a game that was a great win indeed. So I want you guys to share down below in the comments below what you guys think of the match. Remember that to comment, subscribe, check my description below for my Twitter, and my email, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.